I can't find the bell. Part 1, Ryan and Scarlett. There are so many couples that we've lost in La Biblioteca of Alexandria, but I'm here to revive the texts. Let's start from the top. And that's not snot, it's a pimple sticker. Because I have a blind cyst under my... Okay. Ryan Reynolds is a Canadian. He was born in Vancouver, Canada, on October 23rd, 1976. He is a Scorpio sun, a Scorpio moon, a Virgo rising. I myself am a Beyonce rising. And he is a Gemini midheaven. Ryan's father, this is not Ryan's father, this is Ryan. Ryan's papa was a food wholesaler and his mother worked in retail. He is the youngest of four brothers in an Irish Catholic household. Ryan has shared in interviews that his relationship with his father was quite difficult because his father was really, really hard on him. In an interview with GQ in 2016, he says, I had a rough 10-year patch with my father, so we were estranged. We are Virgo risings, aren't we? Okay, so then he told a publication that his father, who passed away in 2015, that he was a stereotypical tough guy who kept things on the inside. The hardest part for me is that he was always kind of a mystery. I just don't feel like I ever had a real conversation with him. He discussed how the relationship affected him in the 2022 Wrexham, one day I'll be able to pronounce things, documentary, saying, the main place I got validation from my father was I was good at sports. I was good at sports. It carried on through show business and unquenchable quest for validation. I put on my weather girl accent for you. Focus on me, not the puppy. Look at those eyes. He started acting at the age of 13. He went to an open casting call for a Nickelodeon soap opera called Hillside. After that wrapped, he went back to Vancouver and appeared in many TV shows like ABC's fantasy show, The Odyssey. And he graduated high school in 1994. He went to college and he continued making TV appearances while he worked as a grocery store clerk. He soon dropped out of college and moved to Los Angeles when he was 19. When his career was picking up, he was offered a role on the iconic and perfect series Buffy the Vampire Slayer, my favorite show of all shows, the best show on television besides The Sopranos and I Love Lucy. And he turned it down because he didn't want to continue playing teenagers anymore. He then got a role on a show called Two Guys, a Girl in a Pizza Place when he was 22. But if you're a Y2K girl like myself, you know Ryan Reynolds from National Lampoon's Van Wilder. That is how I know Ryan Reynolds. When I think of him, he is so funny. He is so funny as Van Wilder. And incredibly inappropriate if you rewatch National Lampoon's Van Wilder. It is so Y2K inappropriate. I can barely watch The Hot Chick. Shallow Hal, I thought at the time was hilarious. I watch it now and I go, ooh. You know, like all movies from that era. All movies before 2024. And then in 2025, I'll say all movies before 2025. So before Scarlett, Ryan Reynolds was engaged to Alanis Morissette. Because of the social media climate and how often people surprise me, I have to clarify who Alanis Morissette is. And that is super scary. Alanis Morissette is an icon, and she hasn't been on the radio in quite some time because she's an icon. She doesn't have to do anything. She sang, it's like rain on your wedding day. It's a free ride. And also, yo, I don't know. You remind me of the mess. Everybody take your lighters out. Of the mess, whatever, etc. So they dated 2003. They got engaged in 2004. And they broke up in 2007. Okay, we're kind of sped up on Ryan. Let's get to Scarlett Johansson, New Yorker. She was born in New York. She was born November 22nd, 1984. It's 7 in the morning. She's a Scorpio sun, Scorpio moon, like Ryan, but a Sagittarius rising and a Virgo midheaven. Do with that what you will. They definitely felt they spoke the same language, for sure. So Scarlett has been acting since she was a child. She made her Broadway debut at 8 years old with Ethan Hawke, New York Playwrights Horizons. She made her film debut at 9 years old opposite John Ritter. I love you, John Ritter. in the comedy North in 1994, the year that Ryan Reynolds graduated high school. Time is funny. She was also in Home Alone 3. These are my favorite photos of Scarlett because I see her, because I know her. I know this girl, the hair. Are you ready for some Y2K inspo? Was this not the uniform? Was this not, look at this. Do you think I didn't want to skin her and wear her? Like the girl. So people started talking about Scarlett a lot after she starred opposite Robert Redford, Papacito Bueno. Yo me dejo. And she was in The Horse Whisperer, and she played a teenager traumatized by a riding accident. This was in 1998. In 2003, she was nominated for a Golden Globe for her role in The Girl with the Pearl Earring. So good. And then her breakout role, Lost in Translation, opposite William Murray, popularly known as Bill. In 2007, she meets Ryan. She's already a name in Hollywood. She is nominated for BAFTAs, and Golden Globes. Like, she's a critically acclaimed actress at 22 years old. At 22 years old, I thought I could avoid a hangover by only drinking Blue Long Islands. So that's her and I. We were in different places in our lives. Turns out I didn't know the cure for hangovers. I was just 22. Okay. Also in 2001, she dated Mr. Jack Antonoff. They started dating when they were in high school, and they went to prom together. Jack Antonoff went to prom with Scarlett Johansson. The life you have lived, Jack. Good for you. Good for you. Now let's talk about ScarJo and Rai Ray. So they're an extremely, extremely private couple, okay? Very private. They rarely were ever seen together. They rarely went to events together. They never commented on their relationship. I think if they did, it was like their reps commenting on their relationship for like a publication or something. So when they started dating, he had been single for about like 2 months, which is fine. It's fine. Hey, the world turns. And she was dating Josh Hartnett. Scarlett, you've lived so many of my dreams. So many. Okay, have you guys seen Othello? Oh, Josh Hartnett, you little minx. Watch Pearl Harbor and don't bark. I dare ya. Watch Pearl Harbor and don't bark at the screen. I can watch that shit on mute. Okay, so Ryan and Scar are seen canoodling in Manhattan, okay, at a restaurant. So this is April 2007. They're seen canoodling, right? Okay, in May, and they never confirmed that they're seeing each other, obviously. I think also to confirm after the first canoodling is kind of like you're talking to a guy and you're telling the world, like, you're scaring the hoes. Like, are you guys dating? And after 4 Saturdays with a guy, you're like, I don't know. Like, I forget that sometimes. It's like, they're seen kissing, like, oh my God, what are you guys? And you could have just met that guy that night and been like, I don't fucking know. And I get that. But they are seen together, photographed together in May. Ryan visited her on the set of a movie directed by... Girl, don't get me started. Don't get me fucking started. Like, you're talking to a lifelong Penelope Cruz and Javier Bardem fan, and it's just... If I was married to a guy and I raised a child and I found out... Okay, we'll talk about Woody Allen another time. In October of 2007... Fuck, I hate saying this. In October of 2007, Scarlett Johansson gave Ryan Reynolds, allegedly, her wisdom tooth as a birthday present. And guys, I got my wisdom tooth taken out that year, that same month. And I read that in like fucking the National Enquirer. So I gave my then boyfriend my wisdom teeth. Because it was also the same era as like Angelina Jolie giving the vial of Blitz to her lovers. So I was like, this is what you do. No, fuck that guy. But like at the same time, I was like, that poor 17-year-old boy. Okay. Part 2 of Scarlett Johansson and Ryan Reynolds. So she gives him her wisdom teeth as a gift. And honestly, a dream. But no, nobody wants to be rock and roll anymore. So for that birthday, he had a party at the Chateau Marmont. Okay. Iconic Y2K location. A source revealed, if you've been watching for a while, you know that every time I say a source, I think it's Kris Jenner. Kris Jenner reveals she just had her wisdom teeth removed, so she had one dipped in gold and strung on a necklace for him. I didn't have that kind of budget. This is a coaster for my house. I didn't have that kind of budget at 17, so in the previous video, when I said I gave my boyfriend a wisdom tooth, please know that it wasn't dipped in gold. It was just raw material, honey. So she also gave the actor her hand in marriage a year later. So in 2008, May 2008, so I guess a year had passed. She goes on the Met Gala red carpet wearing an engagement ring, formally announcing their engagement to be married. Ryan's 31, she's 23. She looks so good. They're both thrilled. Johansson's rep Marcel the Shell? No. Can you imagine? Marcel Parisieux tells People magazine. So back in the day, People magazine was still very much a gossip magazine. Now it's more like where, people announce their lawsuits. Isn't it funny? It's like rain. Okay, so Scarlett Johansson's rep refused to share where they actually got engaged, but did share that they were thrilled. This was the 2008 Met Gala theme, fashion and fantasy, and she's wearing Dolce & Gabbana. Magazines reported that this ring was worth $17,000. It was a 3-carat ring. Alanis Morissette came out and expressed well wishes for her ex and his new engagement to Scarlett Johansson. I love when people are chic and shady. Alanis Morissette, they asked her if she's bitter, which is crazy. And she goes, on a spiritual level, I just feel like everyone's where they need to be. Lest we forget, in 2008, Alanis releases her album, Flavors of Entanglement. And on there is a single called Torch. And she says, it's really all about my grief. And these are the lyrics of Torch. Miss your smell and your style and your pure abiding way. Miss your approach to life and your body in my bed. Miss your take on anything and the music you would play. Miss cracking up and wrestling and our debriefs at the end of day. One step, one prayer, I soldier on, simulating, moving on. Gutting. So then they get married. This is not at their wedding. This is at an airport where they are both wearing fedoras. So September 27th, 2008, they get married. I say married because I refuse to let the princess bride go, but they get married at a wilderness, in a wilderness retreat, in a remote island off Vancouver. Can I just say, all that money, and you want me in the forest? Okay. Vancouver Island, but it was at a resort, but still the wilderness. It's, what's it called? Clay Coat Wilderness Resort near the west coast surfing town of Tofino. The resort ranges from $1,000 to $3,000 a night. He's famous for his, I'm so sorry, for his wedding locations. I had to say it! You get it, because the next wedding location was, where am I? A plantation? What's next on the, what? No photos have been shared from the day. It was just very, very intimate, close family and friends. She later told the Los Angeles Times, it was my mission to have a moment of privacy, to do something for myself. Totally understandable. In an interview, totally understandable. I'm sticking up for her. In an interview with Glamour magazine the following year, Johansson discussed getting married that young. I never really thought about it. It just kind of happened, as most things do when you're 23. It seemed natural, the right thing to do. It was kind of celebration of time. Hugh Jackman was really, really good friends with Scarlett Johansson. And he said this, I used to ream him because I was very close friends with Scarlett Johansson, and Scarlett had just married Ryan. So when he came on set, I was like, hey, you better be on your best behavior here, pal, because I'm watching. And we started ribbing each other. Ribbing? What does ribbing mean in Australia? Ribbing. Ribbing. Slang. Meaning. To playfully or maliciously harass someone, especially by ridicule. So we started ribbing each other that way, and then it all escalated with the Deadpool thing and him calling me out and trying to manipulate me through social media to do what he wanted. That was the beginning of their pretend feud. Right. And all good guys rib each other. They all rib each other. Then the bad press starts. per usual. So July 2009, he skips Comic-Con, and reports come out that he skipped Comic-Con because he got into a heated argument with his then wife, Scarlett Johansson. And the reps, of course, denied this, and they tell people, the report is completely untrue. Warner Brothers never planned to have Green Lantern. Oh, he was a Green Lantern. That's right. As part of their panel at this year's Comic-Con. Comic-Con is a big fucking deal. I've never been, but it's a big fucking deal. Comic-Con, and Ryan is in Europe shooting a film. Any reports of a fight are ridiculous. Another red flag, December 2009. When Johansson told Time Out New York that she and Reynolds didn't have time for dates. We work and then we go home, and I, anyway, just stare at the wall for a few hours before I go to sleep. Like in any profession, it's difficult. You want to make sure you have time to invest in your family. It's a challenge, but it's worth it. Okay. I know her publicist is like, it's like those Instagram captions of a couple. They're like, we've been together through ups and downs. Don't you? I dare you. All of our ups and downs. So he cheated on you. That's the first thing I think about when I see the Instagram caption. We've had ups and downs. What did he do? You went through his phone? On vacation? But by 2010, they were on opposite sides of the country. ScarJo was on a Broadway play in New York. A View from the Bridge is what it was called. And then Ryan was in New Orleans filming the Green Lantern opposite Blake Lively. Now, this is just chronological. So I am not insinuating anything. I would never insinuate anything like that. March 2010 is when the rumors of troubled waters really started in the media. People have been saying that they're on the rocks because they haven't been spotted together recently, but that's only because they're busy working, insists a source, Kris Jenner, close to the Broadway beauty, adding that the two have agreed to be private about the relationship since it began in April 2007. She's been doing up to 8 shows a week on Broadway. It's true. I don't know how the fuck they do it. On Broadway, when I'm like, 3 shows a day. Like I was talking to Ariana when she was on Chicago. Incredible. Roxy. And I was like, 3 shows? Absolutely not. Unless you'd have me, Broadway. Unless, of course. Okay, so in May 2010, she's like, I mean, you're married and suddenly you have your own family. There's a nice comfort in that. That part of your life is certain in a way. You've got your home and that other person. But around that time, the couple's $4.5 million home on Hollywood is put on the market. And Kris Jenner insists it's just because they want to make New York their permanent home. Nothing to worry about here. Summer of 2010 rolls around. So much for New York. I have to say it like what we do in the shadows. New York City. The Camera. So they don't move to New York. They purchase a $2.8 million home in Los Angeles. October 2010, it's Ryan Reynolds' turn to talk marriage, and he tells GQ. He loves GQ. Good. Things change when you get married in general. But in terms of being a couple that's in a public situation and speculated about and all that nonsense, it's changed a bit. I'm a little bit more guarded, I think. I'm just a little bit more weary of having my relationship turn into a soap opera. I've unilaterally not addressed it. It's kind of been the fail-safe for me. I choose to remain as private as possible without being secretive. I like that. I do like that. November 2010, ScarJo hosts Saturday Night Live. Ryan doesn't make a cameo, and this fuels breakup rumors because when she hosted in 2009, he did make a cameo. And we are Big Brother. We're like this. Where is he? My pimple patch is stunning. It's blind. It's blind. It won't come out. It's fine. That same month, the Daily Mail comes out with a story that Ryan Reynolds is an uncontrollable control freak. He's traditional. She's independent. The Daily Mail says, be here. He expects her to drop everything to be with him. But alas, she's an individual. What the fuck? How dare you, bitch? Part 3, ScarJo and Ryan Reynolds. Look at Matthew Morrison. Doesn't it look like he has one tooth? Okay, so they break up. December 2010, ScarJo and Ryan announced their separation to People magazine. After long and careful consideration on both our parts, we've decided to end our marriage, they shared. We entered our relationship with love, and it's with love and kindness we leave it. While privacy isn't expected, it's certainly appreciated. She called us all rude, nosy bitches. She did. And you know what? I was. I looked at my boyfriend at the time wearing my wisdom tooth. Just kidding. He never wore it. He said it was disgusting. And I'm like, you and I, we made it. We made it past Scarjo and Ryan. It's fine. Wish it hadn't. But anyway, hindsight. You know what to say about hindsight. So, you know what's crazy? Is the day they announced the separation was also a historical day in pop culture for another reason. It's the same exact day that Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens announced their split. Pop culture girls like myself were on our knees. Like that. According to Kris Jenner, according to sources, Kris Jenner, Scarlett Johansson initiated the split, and she had already started apartment hunting way before the announcement. Another source talks to Us Weekly and says they're being really civil about it, but Scarlett has been pretty unhappy for a long time because of the distance. They go on to say she's young, and that plays a part on how they handle things. Don't know what that means. It sounds like they're calling her mature, and sounds like Ryan talked to Us Weekly. But they also share that they decided to divorce pretty quickly before things got worse. So that means it was pretty fucking bad. They're doing this way before there's no drama. This is the same source. No drama. There's no cheating. I can barely do that because of my Botox. Love it. And there's no nothing. These are just two people who love each other who are not going to be together anymore. That same month, there are serious rumors about toxicity in their relationship. And it becomes pretty clear that each of their teams are trying to control the narrative of this breakup. In an NBC article, there was this headline, How ScarJo Broke Ryan Reynolds' Heart. The announcement that Scarlett Johansson and Ryan Reynolds were splitting came as quite a surprise to the general public. True, especially to the 20-year-old public. And it was apparently something of a surprise to Reynolds, who hadn't given up yet on this marriage. Describing him as beyond sad and depressed, a source tells Us Weekly that he thought they could work it out, quote, it was harsh, end quote. A source that was on the set of Reynolds' film Green Lantern said Reynolds was open about their problems. To who? Who did you pillow talk in Green Lantern? No, I would never insinuate, please. I would never insinuate. Please. He would say that she treated him badly. She was very focused on her own career, and it never seemed like she made him a priority. You're talking about a 23-year-old. Okay. There were rumblings of this a month before they announced their divorce. In November 2010, a source, Kris Jenner, told Glamour, nothing is going to change unless Scarlett and Ryan can learn to compromise, and they won't. Scarlett won't cancel anything she has coming up or wants to go to, and neither will Ryan. Does that sound like Scarlett's fault? A Daily Mail article, and we know to take that with a grain of salt. I'll never forget when they called me the worst dressed at the Golden Globes. Fuck you guys. Ryan never really got along with Scarlett's male musician friends, and Scarlett was concerned about Ryan's relationship with Green Lantern co-star Blake Lively. Thank God nothing came of that. The same article alleged a witness who saw Blake and Ryan having dinner in New York, and the pair looked more like a couple than just friends. Whatever, people have dinner. People eat together. She said it was just the two of them, and they were laughing and flirting. It looked like a date. Grain of salt. If you didn't know who they were, you would definitely assume they were a couple. Well, I don't know. I go out with my gay friends, and no, one time somebody thought me and my brother were on a date. So, I don't know. Sometimes I leave comments on my guy friends' posts, and people are like, I see you flirting, Tefi. No, I'm just being nice. However, I didn't marry any of them. So there's also a New York Daily News article that has since been deleted, also with a grain of salt. Insiders say the marriage has been crumbling for months, with trips to a therapist, reports of Reynolds having a fling with actress Blake Lively, and a trial separation before they officially called it splits. Today, not like present day, the publication Today, and a more reputable source, of course, did write this in December of 2010. Trust She will be dealt with. No, I'm just kidding. Trust, we heard rumblings that everything wasn't exactly up to wedding vow snuff with Rye and his oft-canoodling Green Lantern co-star, Blake. Blake's a flirt, and can you blame her? It's Ryan Reynolds. Yes, I can. If that's true, yes, I can. But her vice lies in a different department. If that helps you rest easy at night, don't expect this to be the last of Blyan. Hey, it beats Rake. Rumors, though, the press tour for the lame superhero flick is set to kick off post-New Year's, and we're sure the rumor mill will go crazy with B and R spending so much time together. And there was another theory that Ryan couldn't handle Scarlett being more successful than him. Tale as old as time. For some perspective, Scarlett Johansson was Forbes magazine's highest paid actress this year, and she had earned 3 Golden Globe nominations, while Ryan Reynolds' career was starting to take off as like a big movie star after The Proposal with Sandra Bullock. In a May 2016 interview with Cosmopolitan magazine, love you guys. I can't stand myself. Are you gonna keep that in there, bitch? Fuck it. The logistics of being with another actor are challenging, she says. There has to be a real understanding of how you will share your time, especially when 2 people's careers are going at the same rate, or even if one person is more successful than the other. That also proves to be challenging. Although she didn't specify, it was assumed that she was talking about Ryan, giving the timing of the interview. But even though this is all swirling around, they are spotted having a very friendly meal together at Blue Ribbon in New York City after the divorce announcement. An anonymous tipster, Kris Jenner, shared that the two laughed and smiled while dining together, and that the former couple, quote, just wanted to connect and have a friendly chat. They just wanted to sit down together. The tone was light and fun despite the untruths that the media is working up. They aren't reconciling, Jesus. This was just 2 people who are married being civil and friendly. Well, I've seen 2 people who were married before that were not civil and friendly. I love you guys. Thank you for raising me. To my siblings, please don't tell Mom I made that joke. Thank you. In 2011, Ryan Reynolds told Details magazine, I don't think I want to get married again. Wait till you see that plantation. But you always reevaluate these things. Any kind of crisis can be good. It wakes you up. I gotta say, I'm a different person than I was 6 months ago. Hey, me too. I don't even know the girl I was 6 months ago. God, she's cute. Okay, still Johansson expressed that she didn't regret marrying Reynolds. She told Cosmo in 2011 it seemed like a very romantic thing to do. And it was. It was the best thing I ever did. And in that same year, she told Vogue about their marriage. We always kept our story private, how we met, our wedding, everything. It was just about us. The divorce was finalized in 2011, but things got a little crazy in the summer of 2011. Scarlett Johansson goes to Reese Witherspoon's March 2011 wedding to talent agent Jim Toth with notoriously horrible person, but incredible actor in I Am Sam, Sean Penn. No, he seriously is such a good actor. I hate when terrible people are good at things. It like ruins so much. Ugh, whatever. They split later in the summer, June of 2011, because he had pretty recently divorced Robin Wright, Jenna. I love you, Robin. And said he wasn't looking for anything serious. Don't worry, Sean. Every time I see you, I never assume anything serious. Meanwhile, Blake Lively and Leo DiCaprio were spending the summer together. He was filming The Great Gatsby in Australia, and she went to Australia to see him. Ryan Reynolds was spotted with Olivia Wilde. Also rumors of him with Sandra Bullock, who he does not deserve. But in October of 2011, Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, and Scarlett Johansson go to a Radiohead concert in New York with Daniel Craig, Aziz Ansari, Rachel Weisz. I would do anything for you, Rachel. Say the word. I would do anything for you. And then him and Blake Lively remained best friends. And that's the final part. Leo's in every story, I gotta say. First time in a series, though, I say Aziz Ansari. No?